Okay, if your job is a pure BA job, you will probably never be given access to Siebel tools. But 5 out of 10 times, 6 out of 10 times, you will be required to look at Siebel. You will be given the access to Siebel tools, but you should be like looking at it, you should be referring to it, so that you can look at the object definitions or the development world of Siebel. You can look at the definitions. So this is really important for you to know the definitions, how to look at the definitions, and how the definitions are in the development environment of Siebel, or in the development world of Siebel. 2 out of 10, you will be asked to do certain work. One of our consultants is facing that issue. He has to do some technical work, and this is very important at that point. 2 out of 10, they will not even give you the access to that. They will say, don't install Siebel tools on your laptop. So you won't be having. And I know when companies, DCBS, they just don't let you install Siebel tools if you don't need them, because there are licenses for that. And they say, okay, don't install it. Okay, so important thing is in Module 14 you will learn how these applets, these views, these screens in Siebel, how the definitions look like behind the scenes. When we say behind the scenes in the code, or how the code is written, or how the object definitions are written, what are the various properties, how to look at the properties, and so on and so forth. This is what we are going to learn in chapter 14. Okay. We all know that there are 3 layers in Siebel, right? Main 3 layers. Can you tell me what are those 3 layers, Priya? This is the diagram that I'm always talking about, right? We did the diagram, right, John? Do you remember that? See, in this diagram, we have this on the top. We have this screen view, applet, and control, and in the middle layer we have business object, business component, and field. Then you have table and column. Then, well, this just ignore this one for the time. These are the 3 things which are in Siebel. Is it right? Mm-hmm. When you install Siebel, when you just install Siebel, Siebel tools, these definitions were installed too. These definitions were basically created over there. And when you install Siebel client, these are the things, these are the definitions that were used, right? Okay, so these are the 3 layers. We call it business object layer, user interface layer, and data object layer, right? Business object layer has the business logic in it. That is a new thing. We all understand what this is. We all understand what is data object, but we kind of do not know what this is. Is it right? Then we all explain. Then I explained to them, what is basically meaning of business object. That's where all the tables, they get logically connected back again from a user perspective. In presentation layer, or this layer, or the top layer, user interface layer, it just presents it, right? So this was the thing that we learned. Now we will see. So these are the various objects. If you see, these are the various objects: screen, view, applet, control, business object, business component, field, table, column. These are all controls. Is it right? Sorry, I'm sorry. These are all objects. We will see the definitions of these objects, and we will see how to manipulate the properties of these. Actually, basic configuration can be done by just manipulating the properties of that. And it is a very simple skill you guys will acquire in a few minutes. It's a very simple skill. Okay. There are some complex things also, like MVG applets, like pick applets, like writing e-scripts, writing workflows, and so on and so forth, which is not very complicated for you, I know, but those can be covered too. In this chapter we'll not do that. We just want to make sure in this section is only about looking at it. So we'll just try to do whatever this chapter says. Okay, we'll just try to look at the definition. We'll get familiar with that. You probably might go, if you're a developer, you can go ahead and do a little bit more. Not help you out, okay? But after this, probably will be good in development, thinking in terms of the objects in Siebel. Okay. So again, these are the various objects in Siebel, and you will be understanding how to look at their definitions and how to observe, how to find out various data elements, how to find out what are the various properties of these objects. Okay. So these are the object definitions. He has again categorized the object definitions into three this thing: user interface related definitions, business logic related definitions, data storage related definitions. Data storage related definitions will have what kind of definitions? Definitions of what?
Tables and columns.
Tables and columns. Perfect. Business logic definitions, what will those be having?
The fields,
and
business object, a business component.
Perfect. And what do you expect, John?
Yeah.
What do you expect in user interface definitions? What kind of definitions would those be? What are the various components of user interface? Yeah, I expect to see screens, views,
Yeah.
applets, and various controls, right? Let's cover even the basics of SQL GUI's basics, okay? Right? These are various screens. These are all various screens, clinical programs, protocols, site management, institutions, site personnel, subject. These are various screens. And this whole thing that is open is one application. This application is nothing but it's composed of various screens, right? Right? And all these various screens, they consist of these views on the left hand side, payments and activities. In SQL 7, the views are laid out in a form of a tag somewhere in the middle here. Somewhere in the middle. That is a SQL 7 GUI though. I'm showing you SQL 6 GUI because it's simpler, it's faster. It's not buggy. SQL 7 will not start if I start it now. It will give me problems, so that's why while teaching I use SQL 6. But you guys should remember,
What's the
95, there are a lot, and that's a very good technical question. We'll definitely cover it someday when you guys have gotten into. One of the differences is GUI.
Is that
One of the differences is GUI.
Yeah.
Second difference is that it is an Internet Explorer based application. SQL 7, that is.
Yeah.
SQL 6 is not.
Yeah.
Okay. Third difference is very important difference is it has some special tables. Okay. It has some different schema. So next chapter 15 will address one of those tables, the main table. We'll get into that. Okay. Good question though. All the screens are made up of views, and all the views, every view is made up of applets. Is it right, Hafiz?
Yeah.
Is right? And every applet like this is a list applet. It consists of various columns, right? We call it controls, right? In SQL we call it controls. And similarly, this is a form applet, and it consists of various controls too. All the fields basically in your usual world are called as controls. Okay? So field is a technical word. It is reserved for something special and different. Okay? At the same time, I did make a little disclaimer. But you will be talking to users, and they will not be talking in terms of SQL. They might start calling it field. They will be calling it field. They will never be calling it control. Whenever you're talking to technical people, you should say control. When you're talking to the users, just use the common jargon, field or column. They will be calling whatever they want. You should know what they are talking from the context, right? Right? But these guys, even developers sometimes in that field in the applet change it. But you should know what they're really trying to say. They're trying to say change the control. Okay? So even among developers sometimes they use this terminology from the real world, from the outside world, from the usual software world. But in the SQL world, from a purist standpoint, this is the correct terminology. Applet has controls, and field is reserved for components of business components, and column is reserved for table. We don't call these things at column. We don't call controls at column. But in the real world, users will be interacting with users. They'll be calling it with funky names. They might be calling it interchangeably. You should know what they are talking, and you should understand them. It is usually very clear from the context which one they are referring to. Okay. Now we know the SQL GUI. We expect to see the definitions for my opportunity somewhere, right? This view should be having how many applets?
3.
No. 2, right? So this view should be having 2 applets, right? Similarly, this view should be having how many applets? 4. There are 4 applets in the GUI. That means in the definition also, this view should be having 4 applets. Is it right? And Hafiz, do you know that sometimes the name of the views are same in the GUI? And you can find the technical name behind the scenes, the correct name of the view behind the scenes. We'll find that where that is, and because that is a technical word, which is actually the thing which will be unique for every view in SQL. Just to let you know what I'm talking about again, here we have this about view, right? It tells you what is the exact technical name behind the scenes for this particular screen. What is the name of the screen in the GUI? What is the name of the screen in the GUI?
Activities.
No, in the GUI first. Activities.
Okay.
Right, John? What is the technical name behind the scenes?
Screen.
No, what is written?
Oh, pharma activity screen.
Yeah, can you please say it again?
Pharma activity screen.
What is business object written here?
Pharma account call.
What is the view written here?
Pharma account call detail view.
Okay, so these are the internal technical names of these objects. Okay, we will see where these are. We'll check out their definitions and we'll see that yes, the Siebel definition is exactly showing what it is behind the scenes, and then we'll be able to map one by one. Okay, other things, let's go over other things also one by one. This is the internal unique name, pharma activity screen. This is the business object. Well, business object, I always say ignore it for the timing. It is kind of a, you wouldn't need to know a lot about it to configure the things. It is for integration and all those. It is really a different concept altogether. But business component is very important. Okay, but we'll come to that. View, it is telling you the name of the internal unique name of the view. What is the name of the view here, John? In the GUI, what is the name of the GUI? In the GUI, name the view in the GUI.
Pharma accounts call detail view.
That is not the GUI name. That is the unique name inside. This is the name. Account call detail, right? Right, Priya? In the GUI, the name is account call detail. Very user-friendly name. What is the behind the scene? The name is pharma account call detail view. In the real world, in the sense when you go to an implement, this is Siebel vanilla. Out of the box, the way Siebel comes out. Companies will be having configured Siebel, right? Or you'll be configuring for them, and you will see the names might be even more funky than this. Okay, there will be pharma account call detail view, read only, managers view, Sean's request view, something like that. Anything. There could be really personalized views for everybody. They avoid it, but there are 1 out of 10 probably you can see one. Pretty less, but there are some customized views. Not some, like definitely there are some funky views for managers and read only and all that stuff. Like this very personalized views like Sean's view, things like that. They are also there. Coming back, but the view name that he will see in the GUI might be same, but behind the scenes they have to have a different name for every view. Is it right? We know that already, right? Right, Hafiz?
Yeah.
Okay. These are the applets, right? Here we have 4 applets. Siebel 6 and Siebel 7, they organize the applets in a different way, but you will be able to figure it out. The name of the applets, the number of the applets, will, if it is 4, there will be 4 things written here, in one way or the other. Okay? Here it is saying this is the name of the applet, internal name of the applet. The other advantage of this thing is, let's say you are a BA. User says, I'm facing a problem here on account call detail view. So looking at the GUI, he's giving you the name, but you know that this name could be in the GUI, this name could be shared by other views as well. So you don't know which exact view is he talking about. So you ask him to go to about view and ask him to give you this name. That way you would know the exact thing that he's talking about, right? Here, similarly the applet. So you can fetch this applet in the what is the name of the applet in the GUI?
Account call.
Account call. Okay. Is this the name of this applet or this is the name of this applet in the GUI? John. Account call is the name of this applet or this applet? Upper applet or the bottom applet? So he is saying that account call is the technical name is pharma account call form applet, right? Even he has partitioned it the same way, just to make you understand this thing, right? Second one is call products detailed. The name is product pharma call products detailed list, right? The sector 5 and 6, pharma attendee call list applet. Is it right? That these are the internal technical names. You go there and make a search for this, you get only one applet. Making sense for most of what? Pharma activity list applet without buttons. See this funky name? Even vanilla has some funky names. Okay, so you can go behind the scenes and get this applet definition and see how it is, and then you can manipulate it. Not you, I mean configurator. Okay, right? Configurators can manipulate it. When you make a design and suggest changes like remove this new button from here, he goes behind the scenes, goes to this applet, removes this new button, and it will be removed in the front end also. It will be removed in the GUI also. It will be removed in the actual SRF also. Okay? Just let's talk about that a little bit more. If you remove it from this applet here, configurator removes it. Wherever this applet appears, it will get removed from there. We all understand that, right? Siebel is screen is composed of view. If you change one view, that view can be part of multiple screens. If you change this view here, everywhere it will change. Okay, so these are the things that business analyst takes care of. He knows the composition of the views and the screens and the applets, and he knows where lies what kind of data resides there, and he recommends changes on the basis of this knowledge. That if you change this thing here, then something else will be changed there too. If you want to, if this applet appears at two places, and in one place you don't want this new button, and in the other place you want this new button, Hafiz, what will you do? So we have these. Now we understand. Now we expect to see these definitions somewhere. Is it right? This is the user interface. And now we understood. And by the way, this last component of every applet is this control. This control, not this data that I highlighted. I'm sorry. This control. You know, this control, this site, this smart call. What are these fields? These, again, I call those fields, right? I'm so used to using a user world or software world language that even I myself call them fields sometimes, but they are controls. We all know that, right? Whenever it is in the applet, it's control. And now you guys should also try to find out from context what I'm really talking about. When it is applet, we're talking about control. When it is a business component, we're talking about field. Whenever it's a table, we're talking about column. Okay? Okay? Anyway, so we expect to see the names, how these are. If this priority is spelled like this, I expect to see which definition is making it show it like this. Can I change it? If I want to change it to from priority to, let's say, PRTY, then where should I go and change it so that it looks PRTY here? Is it right? That's what we expect to see, right? That's what the development, that development tools or Siebel tools, or the development, interface or development software means. That Siebel tools basically is going to give you the power to change these definitions and compile this, and then see the results in Siebel GUI. Okay? We all know that all these definitions, object definitions, are stored in Siebel repository. Who doesn't know this thing? The definitions are in Siebel repository file. The label is SRF. Sorry, the extension is SRF. File extension is SRF. Okay? So this is the SRF file. This is from where when you start Siebel 2, Siebel 6, this is from where the definitions are coming. This is where everything is stored. Siebel engine, while starting, goes here, picks this file, is it right? And finds out the definitions and makes the Siebel GUI for you. Makes the Siebel GUI for the user. Okay? So this SRF file is nothing but, it's a repository of all the changes or all the definitions of current definitions of the object. If you change the definition, where will those get changed? They'll get changed in the SRF. Right? In other applications or in other software world, when you compile a software after making some changes, what do you generate? You generate a new exe file, right? Yeah. In Siebel world, you don't generate a new exe file. You generate a new SRF file because all your changes are stored in the SRF file. All your vanilla definitions, the object definitions, and the changes, they're all stored in the SRF file. Is it right? Mm-hmm. If you want to look at the definitions or you want to examine the definitions, you need to go to Siebel tools. That's what he's saying. If you want to create a new definition, if you want to create a new table, shall we go to a database? No, not in Siebel. In Siebel, if you want to create a new table, new applet and new business component is very clear. Only thing is table. In the other applications, you want to create a new table, you have to go to Oracle. In Siebel, you don't go to Oracle, you create it here in Siebel tools. It will be very unlikely you will be ever doing that. It is very unlikely that any implementation in the United States might need that, but I still tell you that's where you go. When you want to create a new column in the table, where did you go in the usual world? Oracle. You go to the database, then you enter a new column there, right? Yeah. But in Siebel, you go to Siebel tools and create the column. You cannot touch Siebel base tables or the Siebel's database directly. You can do anything with it directly. Not even the data directly. Forget about the metadata. You know what is metadata, right? Definitions and all this. So you cannot touch the metadata or the data directly, right? Edited also. If you want to edit those definitions which are already present, we call it vanilla definitions, right? Vanilla object definitions. If you want to see them, you have to go to Siebel tools. If you want to change them, you have to go to Siebel tools. if you want to create a new object definition, every field is an object, right? Field is an object, applet is an object or not? It is, yes, it is. Everything is an object. Screen is an object or not? Yes. Application is an object or not? Yes, it is. John, control is an object or not?
Yeah.
Everything is an object. So we say, this terminology has come from object-oriented programming. Everything is kind of called as an object. They have a special name for these kind of things. They call this object, not oriented, object
Object-oriented
programming. But application. Siebel is an object-based definition of application. It's a new term. I don't know what it means. I don't know the subtle point. The only thing is they say that all the things that they provide are all object-based here. I don't know what is the difference between object-oriented and object-based. That is like maybe a thing for some PhD in computer science, not for us. Last point is same that I already said. When you compile Siebel application, it goes into SRF file. It does not go into an EXE file. I'm just re-emphasizing that point because we have some programmers sitting here and they will think when you compile Siebel, when you change the definition and you do a compilation, you will make a new EXE file. That's not what happens in Siebel. You make a new SRF file and that SRF file is sucked by Siebel.exe while starting. That also tells me some very beautiful part of Siebel application. That Siebel application, to roll out Siebel application, you do not need to roll out the new installation. Is it right? You just give them the new SRF and they will be having the new definition. Wow. Right? So that is the reason Siebel has this kind of what you call it architecture. It's a very beautiful program in that sense that if let's say I give you application one day, next day I want to come and give you the new application, I have to give you the upgrade exe, which you have to start and install. Is it right?
Yeah.
In case of Siebel, I don't do that. I just give you a file which you have to copy, not install. SRF file. You just copy it in the new place, overwrite the old one, you're good to go. You have everything. Siebel from the very first day, Siebel 3, Siebel 5, I've never seen Siebel 3, Siebel 5, Siebel 6, and Siebel 7 too. They all have been like this. Siebel 7 is even more advanced. We'll do that. That is one other point of Siebel 7, why it's so good. But Siebel 5, Siebel 6, Siebel 3, they all have been like that. I've never heard of Siebel 4. I don't know what the how the version, this jump. Okay.
But before you...
Very good. Developer does, BA does, project management does, but not the users. Users will overwrite it. They don't need to worry about how application is composed, right? For example, Yahoo Messenger. Do you guys ever care, what Yahoo Messenger is doing in that upgrade file that they send it to you? We just install it. So we are users there. Similarly, this thing I talk from the user perspective because you roll it out to users. Within me and you, within developers, and we can easily install even very complex software also. I did that. It will take us 1 hour. But if there are 500 users sitting across the globe, you're talking about a problem which can be taken care of only by this kind of thing. So that's why people started moving away from VB and Oracle-based applications back in '99. They started going to pre-packaged application like Siebel because Siebel was so friendly. When they have to see rolling out is a big thing. Let's say there are 700 users around the globe. If their productivity suffers if they don't work for 1 day. Just remember that portion. If they don't work for 1 day, their productivity suffers. We all understand that simple parameter, then we can understand what it for. If they don't work for 5 days, it's a disaster for the company, right? So let's say you send them the software files and they install it, and let's say they don't work for some reason or the X, because of the fact that they install hundreds of software all the day on their laptops. They have they go to various sites and so on and so forth. What will happen to the Siebel.exe? So if you have to reinstall something, it will basically not work with that. But in case of Siebel or other thing is, reinstalling might mean sending out CDs. It also might mean using Siebel Anywhere or something like that by which you can do a remote installation. But we are talking about problems all the way. And never a smooth deployment occurs. We call it deployment plan. How would Siebel be deployed? So when we are making these plans, when the project manager is working on Siebel, how to roll out the Siebel implementation, he also works out a deployment plan. Everything, all the actions that need to be taken in a period of 3 days, from Saturday to Sunday, in a period of 2 days, to roll out the Siebel functionality to the users. Now the deployment plan was very easy. Now the deployment plan is very easy in Siebel. Just put SRF on the SharePoint, right? We'll put it on the SharePoint, some common place. Then download it, copy it, That's it. Or make a simple batch file. If you nobody understands what I'm talking, you understand. So a simple make a batch program. Just ask them to run that batch program. It will go quick.
Just override it.
Overnight. Right. It's a very simple thing. But anyway, what we are talking about a deployment plan, it's very easy in C1. Just give them SRF, ask them to copy and paste. Right? How many, we all face problems when we're installing something, right? He knows so many things, but he's installing things, he knows where to click, because it's all sensitive. If it's just copy, you know, he will know very easily. Anybody knows regarding my application, your application, or his application, he will know very easily what to copy from where to where. That's it. It's very simple. Anybody can do that. If it's installing, it's always mission critical, it's always difficult. Just keep that in mind. In Siebel 7, just to let you know, sir, you asked me what's the difference. It's one big difference. Because Siebel 7 is an internet-based application. Even this SRF is lying on the server side. So let's say today your project manager says, let's roll out the new changes to them. So what you do, one of us goes there, copies the new SRF and override the old one. Take a backup of the old one and then override the old one. Right? Right, sir? 1 second job. Really? Well, 10 seconds. No, sorry. I'm like off by like maybe 10 times. It's like 100-second job. But then point is like it takes very less time. Just very less time to roll out new changes. Okay? So in Siebel, object definitions are compiled into the repository file for a configured application. If they are not compiled into an exe file, you all understand why. Right? Did you understand? With this simple diagram, he's trying to say that this is how Siebel GUI is composed. When you ask for Siebel GUI, this thing, the request goes to application object manager. What is that? That's a thing in server. We always say the request goes to server, right? Yeah. That's one of the components in server which processes this request from here. When you click on something, it goes here. It goes to the SRF. Yeah, get the latest definitions. Anyway, this whole object manager is basically where the whole application is composed. It goes to a database, gets the definition. What is it? Why is it written? Okay, anyway, let's try to understand first this portion. Let's try to understand the portion in the box. This is the box. This is the box. You know, it goes and this portion on the other portion where the is in the box portion. It's trying to say when there is a request for this thing, it goes to application object manager. It reads from the SRF what are the definitions to be put here. And in the other portion, which is boxed now, it is saying how the definitions get into SRF. You know, you go to tools application, that's where you make it. You make it, once you put it here, then you know, see, then you put it here. Okay, and then application object manager at runtime will access these applications. I don't think it's a good diagram. You got a lot of information from this first slide. I think it is in accordance with my pattern of teaching. On the very first slide, we spent a lot of time just to make sure the basics or the basics for going forward are clear. Is it right? Object definition consists of a set of properties with assigned values, is created from a template called an object type. I don't think this is useful. We'll just see these object definitions. This is a useless information, probably good for you. You know, you should know that this is a view, and then you look at the definition, you should look at the properties, and you should be able to change them. If you change them and compile them, it will show differently. Okay, that's it. And I've already made that once, but I want to make it again. This Siebel picks the words, their words or their ideas from the usual world. Important thing is their terms and the outside software world. The terms in the outside software world, they look similar. They are same, name-wise they are same, but their meanings are very different. They can be entirely different. Siebel object definition is similar, but it has nothing to do with the object and object class and object instance in C++. It is same. Siebel is made in C++. You know, the name is same, but ideas are very different. They have used the same ideas as are used by C++. And if you ask me, they're pretty easy. If you know C++, it will help you in understanding the things. But from a purist standpoint and from a practical standpoint, they are different ideas. You cannot apply the same principles to these things. Okay. Similarly, applet. Java applet is definitely a very different thing than Siebel applet. Okay.
She showed the same thing. She showed compare with C++ and just a little bit update version for C++.
But it's compiled into Windows.
Trust me, you guys will be disappointed. You will be disappointed when you start working SQL. You guys will get really disappointed. I mean, before you know, I'll declare you guys as pro and leave. SQL is really easy as far as these kind of things are concerned. So see, you don't need to really in SQL, like you will see some like there is a way to manipulate classes, but SQL reserves the right to do that. They don't let you do that. So you will never be able to do anything about that. You can only change the object applet definition and the view definition and the control definition. It should be very easy. Just go to the property, change the name. That's it. Okay. I'm starting Siebel 6 tools. Okay. We have this main thing called as Object Explorer. In this, you see all the objects, various types of objects. For example, applets. If you click on applets, the right window starts showing you all the applets. Okay. The highlighted applet, the properties of the highlighted applets are here. If you click on this, these properties will change. If you click on this, these properties will change. It's like Visual Basic. Exactly. Very simple Visual Basic. And in Visual Basic, in VB, like we use procedures behind the scenes, pretty much like VB, right? You just similarly it's like that. But in this thing, you try to avoid writing that procedure. That makes it all the more even simple. eScript, which could be difficult, is a prohibited thing in SQL.
Yeah.
Prohibited, it's like people do it, they say only 5% customization, 10% customization is okay. More than that is not okay.
Yeah.
So that's good for everybody. Less to learn, more stable system.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. If you want to, let's say, can you find this business component for me? First, you have to highlight this because you're looking for a business component. So now you see the list of all the business components. You come here, you look for your business component by making a simple query. Then it comes, the properties of that business component are shown here. Okay. Some properties are also shown here. If you scroll, the only thing is it's more difficult way to look at it, right? So they have provided all the main properties in this properties window. Making sense to you, sir?
Yes, that's right.
This is the way Siebel GUI is laid out. Siebel Tools GUI is laid out. Okay. So we were on Siebel, we are in Siebel 6 client. We'll just see, let's say you want to find this screen. What is the name? Pharma account screen. I usually, insist that you guys copy. Go here, highlight what? Screen. It's a screen, right, that you're looking for? Come here. This is screen. These are the various properties of that screen, right? Let's say you want to find this view. You go to view, you look for this thing in the Object Explorer. You'll usually find it. It's in the alphabetical order. Should not be having much trouble finding it. Question from Adnan. He said, can we just find, like in Word, you can just find it rather than going to a particular, thing. You first go to the screen and view, and then you go to the list and then you make a query. Can we just find? That's a good thing. But in Siebel, find takes a lot of time. Unless and until there comes a circumstance that you cannot find anything using queries, then you do a find kind of thing. Okay? And no use that much. It takes a lot of time for it to come back because there are so many object definitions. Okay? So now looking for the applet. So I go to the applet and look for that. I tried to copy it here, but I could not, so I'm just typing it. I always tell people not to copy, not to type, always copy somehow.
That's better.
That's better, because what happens is if this blank is there, not there, Siebel will not throw it. If account instead of capital A, it is small a, Siebel will not. This is case sensitive.
Definitely.
This is case sensitive. The definitions are case sensitive. So pharma account list applet. Okay, right? Pharma account list applet is I have to remember it's not accounts, it's account. So please help me, guys. I just write this much. I look for it. Pharma account list applet. It should see it is in the alphabetical listing, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just go down. It should be somewhere down there. This is the one, right? Okay. To make my view clear, I will Control C and then Control V just to get this only thing. Okay, is right?
Okay.
I hope you guys follow what I did. Did you guys follow or not?
Yeah.
Did you follow, John? Pharma account list applet. Let's see what is the name for the form applet. Pharma account entry applet, right, guys? So I'm copying this thing because I know everything is same. Rest everything. Okay. I see this pharma account entry update that is there. Is it right?
No.
Right. Just to let you guys know, let's say you make a search and you put a little extra blank here. It will come. Okay, I'm surprised. It used not to come, guys. Oh, it is coming. It is not case sensitive here. Okay, I would still say be careful. SQL 7, SQL 6, you will go to SQL 7, and I think it is case sensitive, and it will not come. There is a long history of people not getting this definition just because they make some small, simple mistake. Mistyping, I can tell you for sure. Mistyping, I can tell you for sure. Will definitely not bring it.
You will not get it.
Yeah, even a small entry or entry. This is a common problem. There are so many other properties of this thing that we should look at. Okay, we'll look at some of the properties. Okay, let's see what he has to say. Okay, he's saying, I'm just highlighting in the box. In this thing, he's trying to say in this box, the highlighted box. He's trying to say, when one property of some object is referencing some other object, then we should be having the exact name. So this is the problem in SQL. Let's say you remember the other day you asked me a question regarding counts and contacts. If you change the account name here, will it change the account name in contacts also? Right? And I said it autocorrects. Yes, it will change it. In this thing, it will not. If this is a property which is referencing this object name, you change the object name here, the link is broken now. It will not change it back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
That is a problem in SQL. This is the reason.
Let me take this note. It's important.
What do you think?
Let me take this note.
Sure, please.
It's important.
Commit errors by mistake. You know why? Because you have to first log in, you have to check it out, you have to check it in. There are so many other things that you have to do so that your changes actually take effect. Okay? So that's why I'm not that concerned that you'll break the things. When you guys go to the SQL production environment, that means where all the user data is, you guys can make that issue error. That's why I asked you not to change the data, not to change the data. But his question is how to change it and all that stuff. That you learn slowly and slowly. It's a very simple thing. Important thing is I'm not that worried. I don't even ask you, to do this. Don't change the definition because you will not be doing development. You'll be doing business analysis. You'll be going there to examine the stuff, maybe making recommendations. So you'll be basically looking for stuff and then looking at the definitions, current definitions, and recommending to people what should be done. Right? Putting in your design documents what should be done. Right? So then you will be giving to the developers. For them, it is important not to make these small errors in SQL tools. For you, you will be having only a local copy of SQL tools. If you change anything, it will not get into the server. Just to let you know what you mean. It will not get into the server. You have to check it out, check it in, you have to lock it, you have to unlock it. There are so many things that you have to do before you actually
make the change.
Before the change actually takes effect. Okay, so it has to go and get in the server. Somebody has to compile it there. There are so many things that have to be done. So I don't think you will be doing all those things. Okay, no, don't say. This can be done. Let's try. So don't lock, unlock. I just logged it to show you guys. Okay, and checking in and checking out is a server thing. You probably will never be doing that. But don't worry about it. You probably will not break the things here. So that's why I'm not worried. They will not give you the access to the server. They will not let you check in and check out. Something like that they do. That they would do that. Like in case of one of my consultants. This brings us to our next slide. Use a SQL Tools object list editor to display object definitions. We already know that. This is the object list editor where you see the definitions. This is object explorer where you see the type. If you want to see an applet, you have to first click the type here. Then you look at all the lists here, list of all the applets here. Okay. Right? Object definition appear in the object list editor. This is called as object list editor. This is called as object explorer. These are the two main portions of SQL tools. SQL tools. SQL tools user interface. All data in a list applet can be selected for editing. Okay, you can select this data. Changes made to object definition automatically saved when leaving the record. Implicit saving. Okay. Does it happen in the SQL GUI also? Yes. Right. So SQL client GUI and SQL tools GUI are both same. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Clicking to invoke context sensitive menu is for it. So if you go here and for example, if you come here, if you go in this one and you right click here, you will see that the things available at the applet level, like columns displayed and all those things. If you right click here, it is only at the applet level. So that's what, okay, it is only at the applet level.
copy it.
You can copy that. You can copy this thing also. Yeah, here you don't have this copy the text thing. Okay. Anyway, right clicking to toolbar icons exist for common user operations. Right. This is for querying. This is for going to the next record. This is in the last record. This is for sorting. Sorting you won't be doing. You will be mostly doing querying here. Okay. Other thing is you'll be doing undo. I just use like this. You can do the undo the way you want. Okay, so you can do it the way undo, but you can probably use undo from here also. I usually do it from here. So I just right click. That is my most important menu here. I just right click and access all the things, and I query using these buttons. Okay. Toolbar icons exist for common user operations. We already went through that. Right click menu, just to let you know, you highlight this applet, right here. You don't highlight it, you bring it this thing here and you right click. Okay, this is how you get it. Yeah. Yes. Object Explorer displays by default a small set of the most commonly used object types. Use view options and select the Object Explorer tab to add or remove object types from the Object Explorer. Screens, views, applets, these are all various object types, right? Right, Priya?
Yeah.
These are all present here. Is it okay? But let's say you're looking for a workflow object and you don't know that is basically the type, right? Right? You have to highlight this type to see all the applets, right? If you want to see all the DLLs, you click here and you see all the DLLs. Well, DLL, forget DLL, but if you want to see all the views, then you click here and you see all the views here, right? Right? Okay. But if you don't see this object type here, you want to add more to it. Then what you do is you go to View, Options. I tried to look for it in Civil 6. It is not there, so we can just see it, and I don't want to start Civil 7. It gives me problems, it bugs me. I don't like to start it. So we'll do it whenever we can. But just go to View Options, you'll be able to see this Object Explorer. This way to enter, various, more object types into this thing. If you're seeing only a few, you won't be doing that much, but still sometimes it is required and you won't remember it at that time and I have to tell you again. So don't worry about this thing. It's anyway not useful for your development work. Right? Don't worry about it. Properties windows is important. When you go to this one, you click on View and you select this properties windows. If it is checked, that means it is already displayed, and that is the fact that it is already displayed. If you uncheck it, it will not be displayed. If you check it again, it will be displayed. So it is displayed now. Whatever is highlighted in this object list editor, you will see it here. Okay. The way it shows is, this is the app view whose properties you are looking at. This is the name of the properties. For example, admin mode flag is false. For example, business object is account. Comments is this one. And for example, thread title is account. Title is this one. Thread field is name. Thread applet is this. What do these property names mean? Okay. These property names will be different for different objects. Is it right? For example, applet will be having these properties and the control might be having something else. The properties here are very different now. It is text alignment, text style, tooltip text, top, type. It is different. For every property, for everything that you highlight, every object that you highlight, the properties are going to be different. Is it right?
No. Yeah.
Right? So these are the values of these properties for this object. For example, for this applet, ACD transfer applet, the business component is employee. Making sense to you?
Yeah. Yes.
He's saying that you open the properties window, that is one thing. Properties are listed in the alphabetical order. Yes, these are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, G. If I ask you, can you go to the property called as table? You should know you have to scroll down. Okay, it might be somewhere here. And for this applet, this is not the property, just to let you know, it will be, yeah, for business component, this is the property. But remember you were asking me what are the mappings? What do you mean by mapping? Just go to this drop down and select this table name. Now it is mapped to this table. This business component, the property, the table name is this. That means it is mapped to this table. You're asking, right?
The object name is mapped to that one, or the whole record?
Business component. This business component is mapped to this thing. The object is mapped to that. The business component, this account object, this account business component is mapped to this table.
Okay, so each object is mapped to different,
Yes. This each business component
each business component.
is mapped to different table, right?
Okay.
Right? This is how it shows here. It's very simple for you to understand, right?
Yeah.
Right, Mustafa?
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? It's just the name of, this is the name of the table written. That means this action web is basically mapped to this table.
Yeah.
Is it right? When you do it, it will come very easy. Actually, sometimes we don't even teach like this. The value is shown next to the property name. For example, if I ask you, what is the table for action contact business component? You'll come here, you'll say s_act_contact. Okay? Whether it is scripted or not, can you tell me? You'll say, no, it is not scripted. See, the value is written is false. And configure it, what does he do? He just changes it to true. That's it. Right? He just changes to different table name. That's what he does. You can't do it because it's not locked. It's unlocked. It's not locked, but that's what a configurator does. You will do that too down the line. Very shortly you will do it. Okay. You might also do that. Okay. So don't worry about it. You guys will do it. Everybody in this chapter will, in this class will do it very soon. Okay. See, like the controls are a part of applet. Okay. So they will be, you go to applet and you can see the controls in it. So these are all the applets. If you highlight this applet, you see all the controls in that applet. If you highlight the next one, you see all the controls in that applet. So, I will be able to tell you, you go there, you go to applet, you go to control, you will be able to figure it out. Business component should be having fields in it, right? It has fields in it. It also has some other things that helps people, like, you to define certain other combinations and things like that. These are all important object types. And you can always, you will learn it very soon. Okay. Important thing is that business component script will be part of business component. You might start remembering it after some time. Even if you don't remember, you wouldn't be doing it day in and day out. You will be going there to examine the definitions, to see the definitions, how these are written. So I'll ask you, go there and look in the fields. Can you give me the list of all the fields? If it is a customized application, they'll be having different fields here, right? They might be having different fields. So I might ask you, go here and see what are the various fields there, okay? That's what the whole thing is. That's why I'm telling you how to examine the definitions. And on the basis of that, we'll make the right design. That's why I'm asking you to do all that, okay? Right? Exactly. So this is a parent, this is the parent, this is business component is the parent, these are the children. The field is child property of business component, child object type of business component. And all the various fields, when you highlight one of the fields, you will see the properties of that field. For example, this comparator field, it is mapped to CMPT_FLG column. In which table? If you want to see the table name, you should highlight this business component, see which table it is. In this table. Okay? So this is what we are learning. You learn it. It's not very difficult. I just want to show you once. I would have done some practicals right here, but I think we don't have time for that. We'll just go over the theory first, okay? Then we'll do the practical together. Okay. I know that he will learn my next 5 minutes, so don't worry. Okay. You don't worry about that. Okay, he's just saying various navigation techniques between Siebel tools. It's very simple, you learn it. It's not a big deal. Mustafa, don't worry about that. Using drill down. So he says, oh, it's in Siebel 7. It's not in Siebel 6, I guess then.
Those are linked.
Yeah, just click on this to go to the business component definition directly. People copy this thing and go there. I would say just click here and you can go there. Right? At the same time, if your idea is to just highlight, then don't click on that hyperlink. Right? Right? If I ask you to highlight this ACD transfer core applet, then don't click on this employee underscore. It will take you to something else. That's a common problem here. Okay? Don't do that. When I'm asking you to highlight something, don't click on hyperlink. It will take you somewhere else. And if it does take you somewhere else, just click on these back buttons. There will be back buttons here, and it will bring you back. Okay? Anyway, it's simple, small things, right? Using the forward back button. Yeah, this button is present in Siebel 7 for sure. I've seen that. In Siebel 6, I don't see it here. So I don't know what to do here. Anyway, so you can go back to your previous whatever you were working on. So you can keep going back and forward. It's like Internet Explorer, right? Using bookmarks, not very useful. I've not used it much. That's fine. Object Explorer flat tab. This is important. See, what happens is, in this, let's say you are in this applet, right? Let's say you're in business components, okay? You click on this field. So right now you see the fields, all the fields, or you see the fields only in this business component? What do you think, Priya? See only the fields in this business component, right? Right, Priya?
Oh.
And every business component will be having different fields, right? Is it right? If you want to see all the fields, then you click on this flat tab. I will not click on this because it will take 10 minutes for it to come back to me. Okay? But if you click on this flat tab, I'll show you here. If you click on this flat tab, you'll see all the controls anywhere, or all the fields anywhere. So you just select the object type, and you will see all the that objects anywhere. Okay? This is sometimes helpful. You were saying, right, if I have to find, this is a better way to do. Then you go to flat tab and you find the thing there. If you don't know this field, where does it appear? It doesn't happen much. Trust me, it doesn't happen much. You would know business component and then you can look for the field. It won't happen. This field, where does it appear? If it happens that way, you go to, right? You go to the flat tab, look for the field, highlight field in the Object Explorer, look for that field here. Then you see all the business components where that field appears. It doesn't make sense to you, right? Because it is not important. Okay, don't worry about it. Most of you understood it, right? It's just a look at, if you're not going to, developer is the one who's going to day in and day out work on this. He needs to use these tools, how to get quickly into these things that he was working on, right? Right? You don't need to know all this, right? Repository search. That is the thing, sir, you were asking for. Use search repository to find multiple object types at once. So you can look for object types like this also. You want to use it. If at all one day it happens, learning here will not help you because I have to tell you again. Completely from scratch. It is totally useless at this point. Don't worry about it. Oh, we finished the chapter. This module showed you how to describe the differences between object types and object definitions. We know, right? You look at the object type on the left hand side and you look at the object definition on the right hand side. Use SQL tools to examine parent and child object definitions, right? Right? Search for object definitions with a given property value. We have done all that. We looked at the property name, then we looked at the value of that property, we looked at the applet, we looked at the applet name, then first search for it, then look at the properties of that applet, then we saw what are the various properties and what are their values for this particular applet. For the other applet, the property name would be same, of course, because it will be having similar properties, but the values will be different. Is it right? All applets will be assigned to different business components. They'll be having different values of true and false, but right? So configurator does change those properties, right? For example, these applets here, they'll be having different properties, right? Let's examine one property so that everybody can see, right? So what is a property? For example, this my accounts, right? One of the properties of this is, what is the name of this, right? Right? Pharma account list applet, that is the name. From this property, we are able to find the applet, right? Pharma account list applet, I'll look for that. I'll go to applet, look for pharma account list applet. Okay, so I come here, okay, I look at the other properties too. It just tells me the title is my accounts. If I change the title here, it will change it here too.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So you will be thinking I'm writing the code. No. So everywhere, the property, for example, this one, agreements, the title will be agreements. You want to check it out, Hafiz?
Yeah.
Agreement list applet no parent. Okay, remember the name. Okay. Agreement list applet no parent, right? Okay. Did I use a very interesting way of wildcard?
Yeah.
Because I know that agreement and parent cannot come together in any other applet. So I just use agreement star parent. Okay. Okay. So let's see the name. The title is agreements. If I change it to something else, if I change it to agreement test, is it saved now? No, it is not saved. When I step off, then it will be saved. So it is not saved. Now it is saved, right? And if I compile it, yeah, I'm just doing it quite fast. If something doesn't happen, please don't mind. I'm just trying to make it work.
Yeah, civil SR.
So it's getting 5 right now. I didn't recall how to compile, but it's not important at this point. We will cover it later. Yes, taking time. He asked a very interesting question. There are two ways to compile: incremental compile and a full compile. I'm doing an increment and compiling it. So I just changed one. I just changed one thing. It shouldn't have done anything much. You know, it just took some time. I don't know why, but probably the reason is there is something else also, which is oh yeah, there are so many things which are basically logged. See, actually this is new table is logged. That is the reason. That is why it was me, because I've just unlocked everything else. Okay, now it won't take that much time. Okay, anyway, it has been compiled now, right? So let's go into this thing. The property is showing now. We went to agreements. You know, we went to all agreements. It's showing now. To change any property, it will start showing here. It's a simple rule in applet, control, field, business component, table, column. There are 5 or 6 properties that I want you to learn and how they work. And after that, there's no other property that I want you to know about. Right? We just saw title. This is not important. I just did it because it's easy. You know, but important things are like search stack, sort stack, things like that. And like, what is the name? What is it mapped to? Which table it is mapping? That's the most important thing, because that's how you look at it, right? I'll go to the GUI. You can know the business component name, right? Service agreement. You can easily find out what this table it is, what this business component is mapped to, right? Service agreement, right? That is the name of the business component. So you come here. You come here. You make. Oh, sorry. You go to the business component first. Then you make a search for this. Okay, then look at the table property. It is mapped to a table called as s_doc_agree, right?
Yeah.
You guys might be thinking, why am I saying, you know, this property and all those things? You know, you might be finding it easy. You might be finding it easy. You might be finding it super easy. You know, but there are people who will not understand this simple thing. That this business component is mapped to this table is written like this. The property name and the value is this. Okay, right? So this business component is mapped to this table, is written in the usual software world also like this, like in VB also it's written like this. This is the value. If you start doing it, you won't even notice that, you know, you won't even notice all this. It's just very simple. Okay, so we'll do all this together. Okay, so we did, you know, like we learned all about, you know, how to basically navigate into Siebel tools, how the Siebel tools interface is designed, how the various object definitions are returned, what are object definitions, and so on and so forth. Okay, that concludes chapter 14.